Speaking of the pitching, everything I see about Jameson Taillon is as good as he's been, he is set to go up another level. Do you see him going up that next level and maybe being a Cy Young candidate?
It would make sense. I mean, I certainly hope so. I think that he has everything going for him to do so. You look at last year was the first year he really did not have any distractions. And I'm not talking about like Pittsburgh Steelers distractions like throwing furniture off a balcony. I'm talking about getting a line drive off the head, getting diagnosed with cancer, those type of distractions.
The Donut Bag is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smart way to buy and resell tickets. It takes confusion out of buying tickets. They put a 0 to 10 score on each ticket to let you know if you're getting a good or bad deal. Use promo code DonutBag to get $20 off your first purchase. Go to SeatGeek.com or get the SeatGeek app. SeatGeek, life's an event. We have the tickets. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Donut Bag, part of the Pod Hub Network. In this episode, I do a season preview of the Pirates with Noah Hiles of the River Blast radio podcast and producer for 93.7 The Fan. The Pirates have so many questions going into the season, and we try to answer all of them. The Donut Bag starts right now. All right, the Pirates season is starting up, and with me to do a little preview of the Pirates is Noah Hiles. He is the Pirates pre- and post-game producer for 93.7 The Fan, and have your own podcast, River Blast Radio. How you doing, sir?
I can't complain, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. So, the Pirates are, I want to say there's a lot of questions about this team. I guess the only definites are the starting pitching. The bullpen looks okay, and Marte and Dickerson. Other than that, I think there's questions about every single other position. Would you agree with that?
I would say, yeah, there are questions, but compared to last year, there are a lot less questions, if that makes sense. I think their starting rotation 1 through 4 is the best in the division. I'd probably give the Cardinals rotation the number 1 seed if we're ranking them as far as like the whole thing as a starting rotation, just because we don't know who the 5th starter is yet for the Pirates. But I really like the starting rotation 1 through 4. And I really like the Pirates bullpen. So I don't think you have any questions aside from maybe the 5th starter when we're talking about the pitching side of things. And then, yeah, in the field, I think it can be boiled down to the infield. The outfield for me is solid. I mean, it's not the outfield of 2015, with McCutchen in his prime and everything. But, I mean, Marte's good. Polanco, when he's healthy next month, is going to be good again, hopefully. Dickerson, I expect to have even a better year than he did last year, a year where he won a Gold Glove and hit 300. And I think they have a really good catching tandem. And Cervelli, when he can stay healthy, and Elias Diaz, when he's back to full health, recovering from this virus that he had all spring. So I think catching is good. Outfield is good. Pitching is great. It's just the infield that's the problem. And they really didn't do much to address that problem this offseason. They seem to have a lot of faith in the guys that they have. And we've seen some of the guys perform well. And if we could see those same guys get back to their old ways, guys like Josh Bell, guys like Jung Ho Gung, even Adam Frazier had a really good second half last year. If all 3 of those guys play to the best of their abilities, to the abilities that Huntington believes they can play to, that Hurdle believes they can play to, then we're going to have a really solid ball club on the North Shore.
Yeah, I think the biggest question is Eric Gonzalez.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's still up in the air whether he's actually an everyday Major League shortstop. What do you think?
I mean, we're going to find out. I think that Eric Gonzalez, to me, reminds me a lot of the situation that Colin Moran walked into last year, where he was a guy that was never going to start for the team that he was currently playing for. I mean, Moran was sitting at third base behind Alex Bregman in Houston, and that guy simply was never going to beat out Alex Bregman. Not many people, not pretty much anyone in the major leagues would. And it's the same case for Gonzalez, where he could be a top 15 shortstop in the major leagues, he was never going to start over Francisco Lindor in Cleveland. So now this is his opportunity. If you ask me, I do think the Pirates front office wants Kevin Newman to eventually beat out Gonzalez for this job, simply because Newman was the first round pick. This is the guy that the organization wants to see do well. But this is Gonzalez's job to lose. He's been named the starter. He apparently is a better defender than anyone else they have that can play that position. And for now, it's his starting job. So he's going to be batting low in the lineup. And if he can hit 250 and be an above average glove, that's an upgrade from what they had last year with Jordy Mercer. And I love Jordy. He's a great clubhouse guy, and he provided a lot of good baseball for the Pirates. But last year, his defense wasn't that great, and his offense wasn't either. So if he can be a slightly subpar bat and a little bit of an above-average defender, that should be good enough if everyone else can hold up their end of the bargain on that infield.
Yeah, it looks like there definitely will be a defensive upgrade with at shortstop, but then again at second, Frazier is not exactly known for his defense. How do you think he'll hold up being the everyday second baseman?
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited. Adam Frazier, to me, is a guy that every opportunity that he's been given, he's taken and ran with. I mean, when you look at that core of prospects that was coming up from like 2014 to 2016, Frazier's name was never amongst the big names. It was Polanco. It was Austin Meadows. It was Garrett Cole. It was, Tyler Glasnow. It was all these guys. And Frazier just kind of came up and annoyed his way into an everyday MLB position. Now he's got a position. He's kind of like the new Josh Harrison, if you will, where they moved him around everywhere, and now he's an everyday starter. The second base job is his. He was a college shortstop, so he should be able to handle this position, I think, very well. I think if you look at the advanced metrics from last year, he wasn't as bad as a defender as some people think he was. And Adam Frazier's not in the starting lineup for his defense. He's in for his offense, which is something the team desperately is going to need, especially at the top of the order. They haven't really had a lot of success at the leadoff spot last year. I think last year they broke a MLB record for the most players to bat leadoff. Like they had I think it was 16 or 17, maybe not that many, but it was a lot of different players. They tried at that leadoff spot at the top of the order. They could never find one. I think they finally had that guy with Frazier. And, if he's a little bit of a bad defender, that's okay, I guess, if his offense can make up for it. But I don't think he's going to be a bad defender. I have faith in his defense, especially now that he's had a whole year to prepare to play second base.
Exactly. It can't help if they tell you to be the, like you said, the Josh Harrison, the super utility guy that has hey, go play every position. It's kind of hard to nail down. There's
some guys who can handle that, but if you look at it, very rarely are those guys good offensive players. Like Sean Rodriguez, before he became kind of like the laughing stock of the team last year, during his good stretch he had here, he was the guy who could defend well at every single position. But as a result, your offense suffers for that because you're putting so much work in defensively to compensate for, not having one solid spot. And Frazier, now knowing that he just has basically prepared to play second base and I would imagine some outfield, that's got to be a weight off his shoulders.
So Jung-Ho Kang is going to be the third baseman, and what do you see for Colin Moran now? Will he be like the main guy off the bench? Can he maybe play first? Can he be a utility guy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where Colin Moran stands on this team now. If we're being honest, to me, I think Colin Moran's the third best third baseman in this organization. And I don't think Jung-Ho Kang's the best third baseman in this organization. I think it's Ke'Bryan Hayes. And we're not going to see Hayes probably until at least September this year. My guess is we'll probably see him on opening day next season because they're going to keep him down to, be cheap with all the Super 2 status and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know. I think once Moran kind of established himself of who he really was halfway through the year, everyone kind of recognized it. He was a placeholder. He's a placeholder for Ke'Bryan Hayes. Now they found a better placeholder for Ke'Bryan Hayes and Jung-Ho Kang, who can hopefully provide some power. I would like to see Moran do well, though. He's a nice guy. He doesn't say much, but he's a very kind, polite person, and I think he's a good teammate. I think that he will take on any responsibility that they deal to him. If that means playing first base, absolutely, he'll play first base. If that means playing third base, he's going to do it. We need to see him get better defensively. We need to start seeing him hit anything aside from singles. And it's nice that he can hit around 260, 270, but when you're a corner position player, you're not asked to just hit singles. You're supposed to produce with a little bit of power. And when you're a left-handed bat with the short porch in right field at PNC Park, you would be expected to do that. And he's got an opportunity. But this year's a big year for Moran. He knows what's waiting in AAA for him. And he knows that Kang already stole his job to start the season. So he's got a lot of challenges. It's a prove-it year for him. And I'm rooting for the guy. I'm rooting for him to make give Clint Hurdle a good problem of having too many productive infield bats. Because right now, it doesn't look like we have that many.
Yeah. Speaking of first base, Josh Bell, I think it's another big year for him. His power numbers were down last year, and like you said, if you're a corner spot, you have to hit for some power. So, what do you expect from him this year?
I mean, Josh Bell to me is the biggest. He's the biggest X factor for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, I can't tell you the last time someone hit 30 home runs for the Pirates. It was I believe it was Pedro Alvarez. That's how long ago it's been. Even through all the good years of winning, I think it was 2013 Pedro Alvarez. I could be wrong, but I know they didn't have anyone that hit over 30, I believe, in 2015 when they won 98 games. They certainly didn't have anyone who hit over 30 in 16, 17, and they didn't have anyone that hit over 30 last year. With Polanco out for the first month of the year, he might not be his full self until June, worst case scenario, maybe even July. They're going to need someone to step up and be that power bat. And if your best option is a guy who played 6 total at-bats or something like that, 5 total at-bats in Jung-Ho Kang, that's not good enough. Josh Bell is built to be the power hitter. As a rookie, he hit 20-plus home runs. This last year, it was all mental. It was all mechanical. It's not like he just got weak and couldn't hit a baseball. I'm really interested to see, with the hiring of the new hitting coach, the new assistant hitting coach, the Eckstein brothers getting in there. They met with him over the offseason. They went out to eat and everything. That's all fine and dandy. But can they take this guy who is a physical specimen, could have been a Division I linebacker, probably could have been an NFL football player with his build and athletic ability. Can they take him and turn him into a 30 home run bat? If Josh Bell hits 30 home runs, this team will make the playoffs. You heard that. I stand by that statement. Yeah.
I mean, in theory, the pitching is going to be good. So all you need is just a little bit of offense to get him over the top. So we'll see. So speaking of the pitching, everything I see about Jameson Taillon is as good as he's been, he is set to go up another level. Do you see him going up that next level and maybe being a Cy Young candidate?
It would make sense. I mean, I certainly hope so. I think that he has everything going for him to do so. You look at last year was the first year he really did not have any distractions. And I'm not talking about like Pittsburgh Steelers distractions like throwing furniture off a balcony. I'm talking about getting a line drive off the head, getting diagnosed with cancer, those type of distractions. And he's overcome all of that. And look at the year he put together last year, especially in the second half of the season. He was one of the best pitchers in the game. I hope that he can continue to move forward. He looks to be having a very good spring. He'll be on the bump Thursday, which is going to be a lot of fun. He's already talked about how meaningful it is that he's going to be an opening day starter, living up to that high draft pick status that he has. My only concern with Taillon, if you look, I've talked to people who have been in the front office, and they've said, the way you want to progress a young star pitcher is every year you would like him to go 50 innings. You progress 50 innings every single year. And his rookie year, he had, I forget what the exact number was, and then the next year they progressed him 50, and the next year they were going to progress him 50, but the jump this past season was way over 50. So I hope that overuse does not come back to bite him. That would be my only concern with Taillon. Aside from everything else, ever since he started throwing that slider, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball.
What about Archer? He's been okay lately, the past year or two, but they didn't trade for him to be okay. They need him to be
No,
almost ace, almost like Tyone is supposed to be.
like a 1A and 1B. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.